Hi everyone, I hope you have good lunch today. Welcome back to PyCon for the afternoon section today. Today I'll be talking about Python in data science projects. This is my first time on PyCon stage, so thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to be here. Okay, before I start my talk, I have one question for you guys. Is anybody expecting me to talk about deep learning? Machine learning? PyTorch? Keras? TensorFlow? Oh, that's really good. Nobody expect me to talk that thing. So just want to let you know that I'm not going to talk about those kind of topic in detail, so I'm not disappointing you. Because usually for data science project, it's usually like 10 to 20% of the whole project, especially in Thailand right now. Usually it's like all about other things, so I'll be talking of everything about the whole project and provide you how can we use Python to solve almost everything. Okay, let's begin with, and this is me. I'm standing at the back of that person. Just kidding. My name is Jiranun with the long Thai last name. My nickname is Priel. You can call me with my first name or nickname or whatever you want. I graduated from Chulalongkorn University and Illinois Tech for my master's degree from Chicago. My major is computer science for both degrees. I have two specializations, which are computational intelligence and data analytics. I've been using Python for 5 to 6 years. Actually, I started my first job as a computer software engineer at Thomson Reuters or Refinitiv nowadays. I was using C++ and Java for that job, but then I moved to use Python after I used that as just my hobby. And then I got a job at Chicago as a Python developer or research associate at BioCat, which is an organization under IIT and Argonne National Laboratory at Chicago. Then I moved back here to be a data scientist at Coraline. And yeah, I call myself Pythonista. Okay, before I really begin, this is my slides. So you can just scan that QR code to get my slides or go to slides.jiranun.info. I give the slide and you don't have to take photo of my slide between the talk. So, but if you want to take the photo, feel free to take that photo as well. So I will be talking a lot of topics about data science. I will provide very, very simple code. If you don't understand about the code, don't worry. I just want to give you, my objective today is just want to give you the keywords. So you can search on Google or Stack Overflow later and make your life easier. Okay, let's begin. What is data science? There are a lot of definitions about data science out there. And I think all of them are good, all of them are correct, all of them are fine. But for myself, I read from somewhere I couldn't remember. Data science is like just two words being combined, which are data and science. So you have to focus on both words. So data science is to use science, including mathematics, statistics, to extract, to gain knowledge from the data. And then use that knowledge to improve things, to make things better, to make your business better, to make your business objective success. That's all about data science. And yeah, you have to focus on both what I said. You cannot focus just only data or focus just only science. If you focus on the data, you will get questions like this. Is 2 terabytes called big data? You get questions like this, but we cannot answer that question. It depends on a lot of things. But if you focus on the word science, you will get this question. What is the best machine learning model? Who knows, right? It depends on a lot of things. So data science, yeah, you have to focus on both. So how the project begin for our company? If you go to an online classes on Udemy, Coursera, or whatever, you may get the homework or tasks like this. The customer came, the customer said that, oh, they're selling something like, for example, snacks. They have transaction file, sales transaction. They have stock. They have customer profiles. They have blah, 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 promotion, historical promotion. And then they want sales forecast. They want cross-sell, they want fraud prediction, they want churn prediction, fraud detection, sorry. That's the task. But that's all the expectation. You know what is the reality? The reality is like this. They came and they said, we want big data. We don't know what the big data actually is. We don't know it is. We don't know how big data can solve the problem, but we just know only one thing. Our boss ordered us to do this. We don't know what it is. And maybe the government said that is really good and we have to do it. So we cannot be like this actually. We have to work with the customer as a team, find their business objective, find model or algorithm that can solve that problem. Not only just machine learning model, but sometimes it's just like do some simple statistic, it's okay for them. So just we have to help each other. As a data scientist, I cannot work just myself. We have to work with domain expertise. We have to work with the customer who know everything about their business. So we cannot be like this. For the whole data science project, we have to design a lot of things like from the beginning to the end. And I split the tasks into 3 tasks, to 3 sections, which are input, calculation, and output. Simple. Let me begin with the input, and this is my slide. Again, if you didn't catch that before, it's the same QR code as before. So yeah, I'll just go. For the input section, is a place where the data landing. I also call that a landing area or the staging area. It's a place where the data came. So I also split the input into 2 types here, which is automatic and manual. Let's talk about the automatic, which is maybe you are familiar with this first. So this is examples for the automatic ingestion. Connect to DB, API, web scraping, chatbot. I will give you the example of the code. So if you didn't catch that, don't worry. This is how we connect to the database by Python. And we use our package called Coraline DB. You can download it, install it by pip. And you can also go to GitHub to see the code. You can do pull requests, or if you see the bug, just report to the GitHub as well. I will be appreciated. How to use this one? You just initial by using from Coraline DB, import MySQL DB. And it create an object, MySQL DB, input the host, input the username, and input the password of the database. And then if you want to download a table from the database, you just use db.load table, put the DB name and table name. And it's going to return you as a pandas data frame. And it's really, really easy for our colleagues to use this one because it's just like an interface for PyMySQL and PyMSSQL. But this one is going to make them easier to do tasks. And if you want to execute the SQL statement, for example, like select star form, where blah, 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 you just specify that as a string and input and call db.query and put that string as a parameter. And it's going to return you as a pandas data frame as well. Next, API. This is really, really simple how to request and get response from the API. Usually for the API, you have the URL and parameter that you have to specify. This is very simple, as I told you. In the real life, you're not going to be as simple as this. Sometimes you have to deal with like token or take care about security thing. But this is the simple thing, simplest request example. So you have to specify the URL, specify the parameters as a dictionary, and then call request.get in case that is the HTTP get, and use the URL, use the parameters, specify the params, and then it's going to respond you as a response object. You can see the response as a response.text. And you will see the XML, you will see the JSON, or you will see what protocol you use for the API. Oh, There are some websites also provide their own package for the API, so they don't need to use requests to do this task. For example, Facebook, Google, or Twitter, Trello, they have their own Python package to take care for the API, so you don't have to do something like this. You just have to use that token and get the information from their function. Next, web scraping. All of you might heard of the package called Beautiful Soup that is used for web scraping. And this is, or as I told you, it's kind of easy and simple tasks to do. This one is if we want to scrap something from a website, you have to specify the URL, HTTP, blah, 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 and use with the request. The response will be text, and it will be HTML of the page. And then you throw that HTML of the page to the Beautiful Soup. And the Beautiful Soup object, you can find HTML elements in there and process and get the information from the page and whatever you want. And then, for example, for the first one, you can see soup.findAll table. This will return list of table elements of the HTML. Or maybe you want to find the first image of the page. You can say soup.findImage tag and get src, which is a source of the image. So this method requires a little bit basic knowledge of the HTML. Okay, just want to let you know first. And then we have another package to do web scraping, and that is Selenium. Selenium is especially when you want to do something with the site before you do some scrapping. For example, log in, or maybe you have to go to the site and find the search bar, type something, and enter before doing some scrapping. So Selenium will answer this problem. So this is the Selenium. You have to specify the driver, which is actually I copied this example from Selenium website. So you can go to the Selenium website to get the example as well. This is a web driver. It's Firefox. So you can see that the driver will go to www.python.org and find element by name Q, which is a search bar in the page. And then send keys PyCon Thailand. That means that the driver will type PyCon Thailand to the element Q, which is the search bar. And then send keys.return. It's going to do just like enter. So after you do this, you will see the Firefox will pop up, and then it will go to the search bar, PyCon Thailand, and enter, and the result will show. And then you can get page search and process by Beautiful Soup or by Selenium and whatever you want. Okay. This thing is about chatbot. Chatbot is another kind of ingestion as well, and also also can be the output, but this one is for the input. I have 2 slides for this one because the code is a little bit long. And the example I also copied from Line SDK sites. This one is just for the initialized part. We use Flex to be the web server for the chatbot. And also we use Linebot SDK to process about the message that come in and come out. And this one is just initial phase. So you can just use app equal Flex, and you can specify Linebot API and parser. Oh, and you will see that you can see Line channel access token and the secret. That will get when you register to the developer.line. You will get 2 of this code. You have to specify that. And then you have to specify the function, which is the callback function. So every time the user or the customer talk to the chatbot, it will go to this function. And this is simple bot for echo bot. That means if the user talk to the chatbot will respond the same thing that the user said. For example, if the user said hello, the chatbot will just say hello back. So this is really simple. The chatbot will just reply the message, what message the user said. And this is for the ingestion section. So maybe before you respond or after you respond message, you can save that message to database, save to the data lake, and do some ECL or do some process, or maybe do some natural language processing or anything. Okay, of automatic. Let's go to the manual. Maybe you have focused on everything about automatic and you say what should be the manual, right? Why manual? There are a lot. A lot of customer doesn't have database. They don't have API. They don't have anything. And actually they have, but we cannot access to that thing. And they don't want us to take care to know about that thing. So they said that, oh, to get the data, we have to open an application and push like 10 buttons. And then the window will pop up, a table, and they have to highlight all by Control A, and they have to do Control C to copy, open a text editor, and on Control V to place in the text editor, and save to a file, and call it a CSV. Okay, we cannot be like this again. But actually, it happens a lot for especially Thai customer. And we have one solution, which is AWS solution. We provide them an S3 bucket, and then told them to upload the file every morning, every night, or every evening after their office closed or something. And then after that, we can set AWS Lambda or AWS data pipeline to be triggered when the file is uploaded. And then we can just process that data and put into the staging area. But sometimes there are also a lot of customers don't prefer AWS Cloud. And they don't prefer Google Cloud. They prefer Thai Cloud only. And some of them prefer on-premise. They have their own policy that we cannot touch. So we have final solution for them, which is building a website and make an input page for them. So they will come and upload a transaction file or the stock file. So we use Django for this one because we have to take care of the account management. So for us, it's easier to use Django instead of Flake. And I will provide a Django source, but it's going to be like 3 slides. I will provide just 3 important parts of the Django. So if anybody don't want to know anything about Django, you can sleep for like 1 minute. Okay, the first one is a models file for the Django. Models file is taking care of the database, right? So we specify a database table called upload file, and we just specify what the file that we need. So it's going to be models.file fields. This is an example for just 2 file transaction and stock. And then we built a form from the model that we create. We just create a form and simply specify the model, which is the model that we created before. And then input the fields as a transaction and stock. And then finally we built a view. And then this is in the views.py. You just initial the file forms that we created before and input and send it as a contact to be rendered with the upload.html. And the upload.html just like put the form in the HTML. That's it for Django. Okay. Okay, yeah, we finished the input part. And this is the calculation and analysis part. And again, that is my QR code for slides. For the calculation and analysis, I will cover about like ETL and some simple analysis and also machine learning if you're interested in, but it's going to be really, really, really simple. I have simple to advanced ETL, I have machine learning, I have evaluation and performance. For ETL, there are a lot of things that I have to cover, so I just bring one really example, which is we're using pandas, of course, and using NumPy for calculation. We use a lot of pandas. And this is example for group by. You can create a table by pandas.data frame, specify data and columns, and then you can just df, which is a data frame object, and group by, and put the column name called C2, and put the aggregation function, which is sum. That's it. Actually, this is my interview question from my new joiner, but I'll share it later. Yeah, we go to the machine learning part. I have 2 types of machine learning, which is supervised learning and unsupervised learning. Actually, there are also other like semi-supervised reinforcement learning, but yeah, I just want to be simple as much as possible today. So I give you just supervised and unsupervised. For those of you who don't know anything about supervised learning is like this. You can see the balls, basketball and soccer ball there. And I said, basketball is B, soccer ball is S. And I have like 6 examples. And then what is the last one? Think about this. Machine learning is like a kid who doesn't know anything. Imagine there's a kid who doesn't know anything. And we give the example, 6 examples. This is basketball, this is soccer ball, this is basketball, this is soccer ball. And what is this one? You have to guess. It's kind of machine learning. So what will be the guess? It depends on the features the kid think. For example, it could be color, weight, texture, pattern, or whatever. But if the kids have only one feature, which is color, the kids might get, oh, is this basketball? Because the color is kind of brown and red, right? So you have to think about the features to make, maybe to make the machine good enough. And you can see that you will build a feature, I call it X, and we build a label data, which is Y. The label data is like B and S, as I told you. And this is the classification problem. You can see that the label data is classes, it's category, it's B or S. But if you see the label data become numbers, like 0.5, 1, 100, 1,000, it's called regression problem for supervised learning. And this is really simple machine learning. It's only like 4 lines of code. You can build a feature. After you build the features as X and build a label as Y, you can just specify the model that you want to use. And this one is a simple model called decision tree classifier from sklearn. And you have to specify decision tree and then fit the model with X and Y that you have prepared. And if you have a new football, like new soccer ball, and then you want to predict, you have to convert that thing to features and then call predict and put the feature, and it's going to return what will be the guess. Okay, that's all about supervised. And this is unsupervised learning. What's the difference with the supervised? You can see at the supervised we have level, which are basketball, we know that's soccer ball, but the unsupervised learning, you don't know anything. The question is, can we split them into 2 groups? We can split them, but we cannot say that the first group is soccer ball and the second group is basketball. We cannot say that. We just say that, oh, this belongs to first group and this belongs to the second group. That's all. And this is another simple unsupervised learning and clustering model called k-means clustering. So from sklearn.cluster import k-means. And when you initial the model, you just have to specify in cluster, which is 2 in this case, and then fit the model with X. You can see that we have only X, we don't have Y. This is called unsupervised. And then you can see the labels to see what members in each group, where the member belong to which group. Or you can see the cluster centers to see the center of each group. Okay, and after you have done with all the machine learning, and then we have a lot of evaluation score, and this is some example that we use. We also use sklearn matrix. There are also a lot of metrics as well. You can go to sklearn site and you'll see a lot. And this is some example. For example, accuracy score for classification, mean square error for regression problem are square score for a regression problem. And there are also a lot, as I say, other than just sklearn, you can build your own score as well. And for the performance, when we use Python, performance is one of the problems that we have faced. Performance is like really bad for us to implement things. And this is our solution. For example, we use Number. And this is also the code that I copy from Number sites. So it's going to be really, really simple, just the loop. You have to just specify the decoration on top of the function, and it's going to make the function faster. As simple as that. But it doesn't mean that it's easy, because sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes that you have to write the code in the way that Number wants. So you have to try and error. Sometimes Number slower than just pure Python. I don't know why, but yeah, you have to just try it. Another package is Cython. We've used Cython usually is faster, but you have to write in terms of like similar to C style. So you have to specify the data type of the variable before when you do some initialization. That is annoying for a Python user, Pythonista, but yeah, it's faster. And another thing is DEX. Actually, this one is suggested by my just junior colleague, and he tried DEX instead of pandas. DEX is similar to pandas. The DEX can do everything that pandas do, I think, and then it processes everything in parallel. So it's going to be faster than pandas. But after he suggested me, I tried it myself, and I see that it's slower than pandas. But when I make the table bigger, it's faster. I make the more complicated function. DEX is faster. Sometimes pandas is faster. So yeah, you have to try it by yourself. It depends on the task you want. Ooh. Okay, we have actually 5 minutes left for the last section. I will go faster. Okay, we have output. 3 sections for 3 parts for the output. The first one is reports. Reports can be just tables, CSV file, Excel file, and you can build by pandas by .to CSV to Excel, or you want to save the data frame to database. You can use Coraline DB as well. Just db.save table, input the data frame, input the DB name, and table name. We're going to save it. Next one for report is PDF file. This one is, I really like this package. It's called Report Lab. You can build a CSV file with just like simple lines of code. This is an example that you type hello world to the page. And you just specify X, Y location of the page. 100 and 100 will be X, Y location. And the origin of the page is from bottom left. So you can see that hello world will go to like bottom left. And then you just show page to say that, oh, we finished this page and save. This package also provides drawing things like rectangle, drawing table, drawing a lot of curve. So you can build a chart from here as well. Okay, for notification and alerts, we have email. We use SMTP-lib to connect. This is example that we want to connect to the Gmail host. And when we have to just log in by your email and password and send the email to a list, which is the list of the receivers, and then input the email body, which can be HTML as well if you want to make it beautiful. And this another thing, chatbot, and we use Slack. This Slack client is easy. You can see that just import Slack, input the initial with the Slack token when you register to get the API Slack, you will get a token. And then if you want to send a message to a channel, you just chat post message, channel name, and the text hello. That's it, easy. And for Line, we also have, they also provide the API for Line as well. I use request for this one. You have to specify headers and data. In this case, it's message, and you specify the type of the message as text, and then specify the text as hello, and then just use request.post, and this exact URL, put the header and put the data. That's it. It's going to send it as a message. For the dashboards, I have 2 types of customers. One type, they want to use BI tool. For example, Power BI, Tableau, or what license they have. So it's easy. You have to just build a data mart or database for them to make that tool to connect. But there are also other customers as well. They don't want to use BI or any tool because it's hard for them. So they want us to build things that they want to see the data. So the first one is PyQt with a matplotlib. This is an example on the left. You will see that it's a window with the toolbar and work with the matplotlib. The example is just like one part of the code. So you have to specify the canvas and navigation toolbar and input as a widget. And that's it, you can build it. But the problem of PyQt, if you build for Windows, you build for Mac, if you build for Ubuntu, it's kind of different and it's hard for them to deploy to their system sometimes. And also they cannot see with their phone. So the last solution is Django. So it's easier for them to see everything through websites. So we build with Django and for the chart, we use Chart.js for this. You can see that there are a lot of simple charts for this one. You might heard of the package, JavaScript package called D3, and they also have a lot of kind of charts. But for us, D3 is kind of a little bit complex, and this one is a lot easier to use. I don't have Django code for this one, sorry, but I can suggest you, like, you can go to an online class like on YouTube, on Udemy, there are a lot of good classes there. Again, data science is data and science. Don't focus just only one word. We have covered a lot, right? Input, Coraline DB, request, beautiful soup, Selenium, Flex, Django, Libot, SDK. We do cover pandas, NumPy, sklearn, TensorFlow. We don't cover Keras, PyTorch. You can go by yourself. Dex, Number, Python. And for output, we have Django, PyQt, Matplotlib, Pandas, Coraline DB, SMTP-lib, email, Slack client, report lab. Okay, and thank you for coming again.
You're punctual. We have 5-6 minutes of Q&A.
Thanks for your talk, very interesting. I learned a lot about different tools that you use. I'm interested in the staging step. I saw you were using data frames quite a lot, so you were inputting the data to data frames before you did the analysis, right? Do you save the data before you do the training, and how do you save, like, how do you store the data in your staging area?
Actually, for the staging area, it's kind of raw data. So what customers submit is like they have 20 columns, and we just save that 20 columns to the database. And maybe it's just daily data. And then after that, in the integration area, we just grab that data, do some ETL, process the data, maybe reduce the column that we don't use, and put it to the integration area to make it easier for training or easier to read and understand. Sometimes the customer gives us the information like table with a Thai column as well. So we have to convert things before going to the integration area.
If you're using images and things, do you just save the raw images, or do you use any other, like?
Oh, for the image, usually we use data lake instead of database. Usually like S3 or the space that maybe NAS to something that we can save to the staging area first before doing the integration.
Interesting though. As far as I understood, one of the challenges for the projects, for data science project, is interacting with the clients who might not necessarily have knowledge about data science. Is it true that it is one of the challenges, and what are other challenges that you have to do out your data science projects?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Apologies. Okay. As understood from your speech, one of the main challenges is interacting with the clients who might not necessarily have knowledge about data science. Is it true? And what are other challenges that you might have in your data science projects?
Okay, I think the hardest challenge is, the word hippo. Hippo is like highest paid person in the company. So sometimes the client came and talked to us that they don't understand about anything about data science and want us to like do some consulting and explanation. Yeah, we can do that. But finally, when that client understands everything, but when they talk to their boss, their boss doesn't accept that and didn't see that this can improve their business. So we also need to do something that make them see that this will improve the business. But sometimes they also ask us, can you make an AI that tell me that this our business will be improved. So, okay, we cannot do that. We have to accept that. So it's going to be, I think the hardest thing is talk to the customer with the high level, like C-level, CEO or something, and make them understand about data science and make them understand that this can improve their business. And also, sometimes it doesn't, and we have to tell that honestly.
Sounds like you connect to the variety of source, right? Not just the customer from the internal source. So in case of monitoring, how do you monitor your source? Because from my understanding, in integration, you need to join the tables, plug the data together. How do you do monitoring on the failure of job or something?
Okay, there are multiple ways to deploy some scripts to process the data. For the ingestion area, for example, we use Airflow. Sometimes we use cron tab to make the system run every morning, for example. And then in the script, if it got some error, we will have to have another script that send an email error with the error to us to notify us about the failure of the error.
You have to take a look on the specific source, right? And so, which means that going to impact to the integration.
Yeah, of course. We have met something like we do some web scraping, and then one day it's changed, and the web developer forgets to put something, and the Selenium and our beautiful soup got error, and just we have to take a look and do some process, and then fix the code, and maybe also contact the web owner. But usually, I tell you this, we are not gonna do some web scraping from other websites. Usually, the customer requires us to use that one, and some customer has their own website, and they want us to build a beautiful soup to scrap their own website, and it's I don't know, it's ridiculous, but yeah, it happened like that. So sometimes they forgot to put something in the page and it got error, so we have to fix it as soon as possible. And of course, we have to take risks about losing some data.
Can you share us about the model development process? Because I think it's quite different with the software development process. How can you manage the timetable or time slot, and how you divide the time for each stage?
Okay. We usually specify the time for our company. We usually specify the time for modeling for 2 weeks, and then it's short, I know, but it can be extended if you see something wrong that you want to extend. But basically, for the modeling, we usually have a rule, not kind of rule, but we just talk to each other like, at least you need 6 models for each question, so each task. 6 model, and also at least you have to do some research. Specify multiple parameters and make change to the parameters before get the result. But we don't care about the results. We don't care about accuracy. We don't care about any score. We just take a look and see what is the best thing that we can do. We don't say that you have to do 90%. We don't say that. So just try. So data science is like trial and error. So you don't know which one is the best. You don't know that this is going to be good or not. It's just try and error. Usually we're going to suggest them that you have maybe sometimes it's not that dirty. For example, we have saw a lot of data be like as an emoji in the table. Like how many kids do you have, and 3 kids emoji. And then we have to just clean, but it's just not a lot. So that's fine for that. But sometimes there are a lot of customers come and don't have really, really dirty data and don't have data actually. So we try to suggest them to do something better, to make their business more ready before coming to us. So we have to say, we have to admit that, okay, you have to go back and take care of the input or maybe your ERP, your system before coming to us again, and we will wait.
I
Hi, thank you very much for your informative talk. I have two questions. One question is about what you mentioned is data science task is kind of trial and error, right? So how do you convince your customer that, your application and all your system can deliver some degree of accuracy, and they will let you to do the project? That is my first question. And the second question is some of the customer requirements, they want their model to be adaptive, to let their model to be more intelligent to the new coming data that we can get more and more, that they expect that their model will be more intelligent. How do you deal with that request?
Okay. I forgot the first question.
The first question, how do you get the project and commit the
Okay. Yeah. So honestly, we cannot know that at the beginning, like first meeting. We cannot say that we will improve your business 20%. We cannot say that, but we cannot promise that. And but we do have some session for our company we call observation phase. So the customer will sign NDA page and give us some of the data they have, and we can do trial, just a little bit try and error, and see what could be the accuracy, and told them later after we sign the paper. So before that, we have observation phase for this one. For the second question, we do have a dynamic model. For example, if you want to train a model every month, every week, every day, whatever the customer wants, or maybe sometimes if you need the model will be trained when the accuracy drop below 70%, we just train at that time. It also depends to the customer as well. Okay, thank you so much again. If you have questions, you can send me an email or go to my Twitter, ask me on Twitter, or maybe you can ask on my page, not my page, my company page, which is Data Driven Business by Coraline. Okay, thank you so much.